So dear viewers, welcome again to your favorite channel, Yoleno TV. So Kenya Kwanza have decided to file a response to the petition from Raila Amolo Odinga and Martha Karua from the Azimio wing. So earlier on we saw Chebukati and Gulie also filed their own responses to the petitions that were filed by, again, the Raila Amolo Odinga and Martha Karua. And one thing for sure is that showdown is looming. And what has shocked me the most is when I went through the response from William RUTO, there is a part where he indicated the need to be compensated. Perhaps he talked about damages related with attributed by the fact that Kenya Kwanza kept attributed by the fact that Azimio and Kenya Alliance kept mentioning the hacking, kept mentioning things related to voter bribery, theft, and everything. So what William RUTO is trying to insinuate is that Raila Amolo Odinga and Martha Karua will have to pay him. That is the message from his response to the petition that was given to him. So personally, I think that though it's too early to say that I need compensation, because you don't know unless William RUTO knows that he's going to win this case. I don't know if he's seen the affidavits, seen whether he's heard about the various allegations and you know the smartmatic and everything. So because if he has actually gone through those exposés, then I think by now he should be worried. He should even be reaching out to Raila Amolo Odinga to withdraw this case, because there's no doubt that a nullification is looming. Well, I was hoping I would see a lorry full of evidences, full of write-ups in response to what Raila Amolo Odinga has petitioned, but I only saw a handful of documents, contained in a box. So that could be maybe Kenya Kwanza did not have anything to respond to offer as a response to the petition. But that notwithstanding, the case has to commence, and I think going forward we will be seeing a lot of responses from the judges and from the witnesses who will be called upon. So before you get started, ladies and gentlemen, please, if you're a first-time viewer, take a moment and subscribe to our channel. And if you're a regular viewer, as usual, I always like to request regular viewers to also not forget to subscribe to our channel. That is the only way you support us. So I want us to go straight to this response from Kenya Kwanza Alliance. And I went through the response. Though I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an advocate like I've been saying, but I had to go through the document to see what details those documents had, because it's important that we know what they are actually offering as a response. And by the way, I don't know whether Kenya Kwanza is aware, but most of the time the courts do not want people to be bringing in evidences while the court is ongoing unless requested by them. So I think that explains the reason why Raila Amolo Odinga had to take a whole counter of evidences. And though Kenya Kwanza is making fun out of it, but maybe when the case starts, they will realize that it was very important to carry everything. And there is a part where William RUTO is saying that Raila has always been contesting elections for quite some time, and that the Supreme Court should not take him seriously. That was a point that William RUTO fronted, that Raila Amolo Odinga is known to be contesting elections. Whether he wins or does not win, he will always have the urge to contest election. So the courts should just ignore him completely. That is one of the points that Kenya Kwanza has fronted as to why they need that case to be, to just be done away with. So there is a second one. And the second point was that RUTO has used, this is a response that he was using is that Raila has a tendency of sharing power, wanting to share power. That the petition that he has filed is simply meant to seek power sharing deal. Soon after William RUTO was pronounced as the winner, you had the chest stamping and everything from Kenya Kwanza. You also heard what Rigathi Gachagua used to say. And then there's a time when Wetangula almost asked Raila Amolo Odinga to do a handshake with William RUTO. And in our previous analysis, we've been saying that William RUTO has a way of communicating to Raila and Uhuru. William RUTO does not communicate directly. He chooses his lieutenants or the proxies. So he used Wetangula to communicate a message of handshake. Perhaps if Raila was interested, then Raila would come to him and they do a handshake and probably, the Chebukati kind of thing. Then they share the cabinet slots. That is something that Wetangula said, and he hoped that maybe Raila would heed his call and probably look his way. So William RUTO in a second point said that Raila has always had a tendency of seeking power sharing deal. I say that if Kenya Kwanza would like to win this case, they need to come out very seriously. But from the points that we are seeing, it looks like they are not serious about what they want. The first thing you say is that Raila has a tendency of contesting elections, so ignore him. The second thing you say, Raila has a tendency of wanting to share power with who? So Kenya Kwanza is trivializing this case, making it look like something that is less important. So I wonder why. I think the likes of Ahmed Nasir ought to have advised William Samoei Ruto to come up with concrete information in their responses, something that would add value to the response. So let's go to point number 3. That the petitioner has a tendency of insisting that electoral bodies be changed every time he loses election. My question, ladies and gentlemen, is how many times have we changed our electoral bodies? I only remember of 2007 when there was Samuel Kivuti's led electoral commission, the ECK, that we also know, we all know that the elections were bungled, and Kivuti even one day in one of those instances said, I don't know who won the election. That caused a lot of chaos, and you saw what happened. We don't want to go to that level. Our country has matured enough. That's why you're seeing no war, people are not fighting, no chaos, but the courts are handling this matter in a very, very professional and amicable manner. And I believe going forward, the courts will make a determination. I saw when first I was going through this response, there is a part where Kenya Kwanza is saying that, and I'd like to go through what they said, because this is a laughing matter. Honestly, it's a laughing matter, because Kenya Kwanza was saying that the courts should not nullify the election. You see, they are literally trying to beg Martha Koome-led court not to nullify the election, because they are saying that their supporters will cause chaos. I mean, that was contained in that response, that don't nullify this election because people have already enjoyed. People are already in their comfort zone waiting for the inauguration to be done. I think that was a bit reckless. That's why I'm saying that Kenya Kwanza ought to have come out strongly in their responses. But if anything, if whatever they are putting up is anything to go by, then I think Azimio One Kenya Lands should start celebrating, because I mean, honestly, the petition against the responses don't even match. Maybe I could attribute the response to the fact that Raila Amolo Odinga has been through these petitions. He knows how to address them. He knows how to handle them, and he grows every time they handle an election. Raila grows in terms of how to deal with such petitions or such elections. So William RUTO came with a small box with few evidences in it, few information, because he didn't have anything to say, because he's not contesting the election. He's not even saying that his votes were stolen, so perhaps he doesn't know what to say. So, like I was asking you, how many times have we changed our electoral body? If you remember, I only remember of twice, ECK and IEBC. So ECK, by the last commission head the commission chief was Samuel Kivito, and then in 2013 there was Isaac Hassan. And you know what happened? The elections were also bungled, and that led to the disbandment the whole team had to be, you know, disbanded. And see, probably that's why I'm saying that Chebukati needs to see things beyond his lenses. And by the way, in the response, I did not see anywhere where Ruto said that you know, in some of the Azimio One Kenya Alliance stronghold, some of his votes were stolen. I think Ruto has not mentioned a single thing since the announcement of the presidential elections, has not mentioned a single thing regarding his votes being stolen in the Raila Amolo Odinga stronghold. So we saw even the affidavits of Gulie and Chebukati, whereby Chebukati was complaining that Azimio One Kenya Alliance inflated some votes, or maybe wanted him to inflate some votes so that they could mention Raila Amolo Odinga as the winner. That is an allegation that the chairman himself of the IEBC made such an allegation that is not even competent. For someone like Chebukati to make such kind of allegations is a bit belittling to the commission. I didn't expect Chebukati would come up with such mischievous, such childish allegations as to, you know, saying that Chief Agent for Azimio wanted him to add some votes so that he could, you know, that was not the case. If I remember an audio I had and I shared yesterday, the Chief Agent and Senator Ledama, were saying that show us the results and then give us a copy of those results, then give us the copy to sign. That was a bone of contention where Chebukati could not avail that document. The Chebukati could not give indications as to how the verification was done to the last constituency votes. So that is why the bone of contention was, and it's the reason why the chief agent had to walk out, because these results were now opaque, as referred by Chirera. Because what we understood and what we got from the back and forth argument is that Chebukati took himself to the back office, made his own, you know, assumed the role of other players within IBC, because we know that Chebukati's role is not a role of tallying and adding numbers. There are people who are employed to do that. Chebukati's role was to get the documents, verify in the presence of the commission or the commission members. Because again, why do we have 7 members if only one person is necessary? Why do we have 7 commissioners to be paid taxpayers' money for nothing, for doing nothing? So I think Chebukati must have gone against the law somewhere. But again, the courts will determine the mistakes that Chebukati committed. So ladies and gentlemen, I personally think Azimio One Kenya Alliance should start celebrating, because the looming nullification of this case, is inevitable this moment round. Because look at the affidavits filed from the youth advocacy, from Gidongo, from the IEBC commissioners. Look at those from the electoral observers, the Haki Africa. Look at the electoral observers from the international. They gave their own report that the electoral process was not free and fair. So all these allegations, and then Kenya Kwanza comes up with a document that can only be regarded as a class 4 composition book. That is like a class 4 composition. There are no points that can actually make the judges want to throw away this case. As far as I'm concerned, this case will sail through to the last bit, and if I'm not wrong, it might have to be rejected by the courts. If I'm not wrong, then I think we are going back to the ballot. So, ladies and gentlemen, perhaps if you're watching our channel for the first time, please take a moment and subscribe. If you're a regular viewer, as usual, subscribe, give us a like, you can hit the notification bell. And once again, I'd like to say thank you so much for being with us, and until we meet again, stay safe, stay blessed.